kind of what we need to do to ourselves is some deep weeding. Good morning. I had an epiphany. I have started reading Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules to Life, and if you haven't read it, it is excellent. But I had an epiphany. Part of help with right brain is Rosie's drinking a gallon of water. I got relegated down to the basement, and well, I shouldn't say that. Right brain and I moved everything, and he was very loving to give the space up for me. It's a lot bigger than the room I was in, but this also means the dogs are down here with me because that's how they get to outside. Anyways, you guys don't need to know that. It's fine. It's fine. You'll just hear me talking to the dogs more often because it's a lot of editing I'd have to do to cut out all the dog noises. Anyways, okay, 12 Rules to Life. It is excellent. I've been reading about one chapter a night. I have not finished. I'm like halfway through. But the epiphany that I had was why we as humans struggle with happiness. And this is like very blanket, obviously. It's expectations or lack of them being met. At least for me, this is what has led me to all of the bad thinking and disappointments in my life. And this hasn't even been with just other people, but with myself, right? There's a portion in the book that talks about pretty much, it's almost like we have two people inside of ourselves, what we have on the externally, what we actively attempt to control, and then the internal part of us, the id, the it, whatever, ego. And that over time, as we've grown, we have created a resentful part of ourselves, and that's that other part of ourselves, through unmet expectations. Telling ourselves we're going to do X, Y, Z, not doing it, and doing these mental gymnastics, reasoning why we didn't do it, and making up excuses in our heads when deep down that part of us actually knows we just didn't do it because we were either lazy or didn't want to, or when we made the promise to ourselves we just weren't going to do it anyways. It was just mental gymnastics. And that part of ourselves have become resentful because who doesn't become resentful if you tell them that you're going to do something and you constantly don't meet the expectations of what you said you were going to do? This is, I think, really powerful because he talks about doing things like an olive branch of how we repair that. Because how do you repair the trust to someone that you've broken? You have to repeatedly do acts in where you do what you say you're going to do. You meet the expectations you set. And so I think to my core, fundamentally, this is from the time I obviously was a kid or whatever, that I have been slowly lying to myself and not meeting my expectations, saying things like, I'll get up and go do the dishes in 10 minutes, and it's 3 hours later, and I wonder how I got sucked into this YouTube hole. And so working on strengthening that muscle of integrity, I think it's going to be a huge thing having to do with carnivore. And my journey to healing is having integrity, because I'm going to be honest, I think a lot of society lacks integrity. I'm included in this. I'm not saying I'm holier than thou by any means, but I think we lack integrity in so many ways in our personal lives and external lives. And what would the world look like if everybody did what they say they were going to do, or at least honored their word and communicated when they weren't able to, right when they knew? things wouldn't be drug out. Girls wouldn't give guys fake phone numbers versus just telling them they weren't interested, or, you know, people wouldn't lead other people on for whatever it is. We would just be truthful and honest to each other, and not this just nastiness that exists. So, I think that is my biggest epiphany yet, in the sense of being honest with myself and setting realistic, honest expectations, and just overall trying to not have expectations. That almost sounds like an oxymoron, right? Because if you walk across the road, I almost expect the car not to run me over in the crosswalk. But I haven't quite figured out the answer to that yet. But it's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. Big old work in progress. Anyways, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. I thought it was pretty darn good, and I will share more of my epiphanies because, as I said before, this journey is not just about the physical. It is definitely more mental. The physical is a side effect of the mental component of this. So being able to look inside, root out, and dig out all those weeds, because it's kind of like those like pointy, frilly, like leafy weeds that when you go to pull them out of the ground, you only rip the stupid leaves off, and then you got to get the trowel or whatever you call it. I get a pick and dig it out. You got to like get deep down in there to get all those stupid roots out, because if not, they just come back a few weeks later. It's kind of what we need to do to ourselves, is weed, some deep weeding. And some of them, we've pulled those leaves off and we don't even know the roots are still under there festering. Anyways, if you lasted this long, thanks for listening to my rant. I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you guys. I hope you have a good week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.